Hey dolls, welcome back to my channel, Sharon's Nail Boutique. If you're new here and have not yet subscribed, you could wait to the end of the video, or you could do so now if you haven't already. You definitely will not regret it. And to all my new and most recent subbies, thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. You have no idea how much this means to me. And if you have a channel of your own, then you do have an idea how much it means. When you make that first 100, it's really rewarding. And then when you get close to 1,000, it's like that hump that you want to get to and get over, you know? What I'm doing right here is I'm cutting up the blue iridescent and the purple iridescent angel paper, and I'm getting that ready for strips to put onto the nail that I'm doing, my China Glaze iridescent pink / gold tone flakes. They're really, really cool. It's almost kind of like fish scaly. And you want to work with your beads wet when you pick this stuff up, because if you don't, it's just going to dry into a big hump of a mess. So you want to make sure you're spreading that around the nail quickly and really wet. So I'm just pushing those to the side gently so they don't stick to my hand so much. And I'm going to use a piece of iridescent material that I got from Joann's Fabrics, and I just cut that into like a little sliver strip, rectangular vertical way, so I can lay that down on the middle fingers on each hand. And then I'm gonna stripe either side of it with striping tape in a gold metallic color, and I'm gonna do ombres with my Glam and Glitz Love Me from the Diamond Collection. And I'm gonna use my gold acrylic powder that I made myself using Pearl X mica pigment, excuse me. And I just put that up there. I'm using my iridescent material in a rectangular vertical shape to encapsulate. And so all that means is I'm laying it vertical ways. Basically, when I tell you guys vertical, I mean up and down. Not side to side, but up and down. So I'm also going to lay the striping tape up and down vertically on either side of that. And then I'll encapsulate that with my Mia Secret clear polymer powder. And that's just a technical term, but it's just a clear acrylic. And I'm using my Mia Secret monomer as well, and it is a violet. It does have a strong odor. I have smelled worse. I've smelled better. I've smelled the ones with no odor. Obviously, I didn't smell anything, but you know what I mean. So I also use my Fantasy Tinsel in the Fuchsia Fantasy, the Grape Fantasy, and the Blueberry Slush Fantasy. And I was going to use that glitter gold striping tape, but I realized this is too thick. I need something thin. So that's when I used my gold metallic striping tape. But one thing I will say about these striping tapes, the metallic ones, and probably the holographic ones as well, is they bleed. It totally removed almost all the way the gold color off the striping tape to the silver base. And that kind of upset me a little bit because I really worked hard on this design. My client loved it, even though that happened. She didn't even notice, but it's these little things that you can't control really, especially, I mean, I could have put it on the surface, but I didn't want it to chip or peel off. So I wanted to, you know, try my hand at encapsulating this stuff, which I have done before. It didn't ever give me a hard time like this time. So, and I got my design idea based off of Ana Navarro's Dreamcatcher 3D art that I had traded with a friend of mine a while back. And I don't believe she's on YouTube anymore, but her name is Natalie. And it was quite a while ago, a couple years ago now. I've been doing this since 2015, 2014. So I've come far in my career, and I just loved coming up with this design. It was totally off the top of my head. I pulled the colors from the Dreamcatcher 3D art, and that's what I went with. I took some angel paper in those purple and blue colors, cut strips. I came up with this idea because I've been wanting to do it, and I ombre'd my Love Me by Glam and Glitz, which is a beautiful shimmery teal color. And I used my own gold, which is very metallic-y, shimmery as well. And I ombre'd those on the sides of this strip in the center after I encapsulated it and filed it on the edges and got the edges straight as I possibly could. Now, I didn't have a lot of room on these nails to do the ombre, so it didn't come out exactly how I wanted it. But in the end, it was good enough. I know I could always do better, and I continue to push myself to get there. You know, 2 years ago, I wasn't even as far as I am now. So all I'm going to do is just keep going. I definitely want to get a new brush because I need to get brush cleaner as well, because I've been using acetone to clean my brushes. But I know that damages my bristles over time and they start to fall out. So if anybody could suggest a good brush cleaner, I would greatly appreciate that. If you ladies want to see anything new, any suggestions for designs that you'd like to see that you've seen done before, that you'd like to see me recreate, I could also possibly do it on Lola, my fake hands, as well. So yeah, just pop them in the comments below, ladies. Let me know what you think about this set. If you would have done it any different, if you would have done less, let me know. I'm open to all constructive criticism. Just don't be nasty and mean. There's a way to say things to people and get your point across without having to be abrasive and insulting. You know what I mean? I definitely don't want any drama here on my channel. This is all about positive vibes only, sharing tips with each other, learning from each other, and just building that positive nail community. So after I finished with that tinsel ombre, what I did was I laid the grape fantasy tinsel, then the fuchsia fantasy tinsel, and then the blue raspberry slush tinsel at the top, and I did like a 3-color ombre. I wasn't crazy about it just because the tinsel is a longer tinsel, and I guess in hindsight I think it would have been better if I used like a shorter length tinsel, but you live and you learn. So I moved on now to her, not her middle finger, but her pointer. No, her ring. So I'm using my China glaze, and remember I told you it's like fish scale stuff. It's so cool. I love this stuff so much. I actually got like 2 jars of it from Ulta, and it's the China glaze. It's like it's so hard to describe. It's like a mylar, but it's more like fish scaly, and it has that pink, like goldish green tint to it, almost like the extra fine glitter, iridescent glitter that you can find at Michael's. It has that pinkish, goldish green tone to it. And then I put those strips over these nails. So I thought that this would be a beautiful backdrop for those strips. And I'm just making sure that I'm getting that cuticle area flush, and I'm laying my glitter properly so that when I come back into cap, it's going to be a solid foundation, good structure. It's going to look good. It's going to file good. And I'm just laying it like every other color, purple, blue, purple, blue. And I want to try and keep in mind that I don't want too thick of a strip on here. I want to lay them ever so, not too close, but close enough to where it looks good together and it's cohesive, and people get the point of what I'm trying to accomplish. So, you know, I kind of kept the color palette the same. I did do different designs on the fingers. I kept it the same designs on the other hand, just on opposite fingers, except for the middle finger, because I did the strip thing on each of the middle fingers. So I really hope that you ladies enjoy this video. There's not much more I could explain other than the pointer finger on this hand. I start with the Love Me at the free edge, and I blend that upwards because I'm doing a glitter and acrylic ombre. So what I do is I blend that Love Me upwards on the pointer, and I pull down this beautiful fuchsia fantasy iridescent crushed mylar that I mixed into an acrylic, and I pulled that over the Love Me, and because it's a teal and pink mix, it kind of made it look like a purple in between where it sandwiched, and I just thought that gave it such a pretty effect. So I did that on the pointer, and then on the thumb I did an ombre with glitter as well, and I started with my gold acrylic that I made myself, and I blended that upwards from the free edge, and I used Paris Lights, I believe, by Deborah Sweeney. I believe it was Paris Lights or Paris something, but it's a beautiful matte, and I believe there's some holographic glitters in there and some metallic ones, like extra fine, but it has beautiful matte like satin purple hearts in it. matte baby blue satin hearts. It has beautiful matte lavender hexes and extra fine and a little bit bigger in size. And so I love how those mattes and metallics play off of each other like that. And it was a perfect glitter mix to go over these nails because it had the blue, the purple, and the gold tones in it, and it went with the whole set. So that's why I decided to go with that glitter mix. And if you're watching this, Deborah, I've always been a fan of your glitter mixes. I just love them. I love how you put caviar beads in them. I love how it has like the perfect combination of extra fine, and chunkier all together. So keep up the great work if you're still mixing. If not, your crafting is just as good, if not better. And you know, you're just amazing at everything you do. You've always been such a great friend to me and supporter of my channel, so thank you for that. And thank you to all my other friends on here too. There's tons of ladies that I could put on here, and I am going to do a video one of these days just thanking all my subbies and putting everyone's name up, because I want to let you guys know how much you guys mean to me. And at 1,000 subbies, guys, we're doing a huge giveaway, so hopefully that'll just kind of show what you guys mean to me and how much your support means to me. So I'm going in with this gold acrylic that I made myself, like I said, and I'm starting at that free edge, and I'm just kind of filling that in there and getting that shape right, so that when I come back and file, I could just round that off and it's not going to be an issue. So I do overlap over the center, but I've already encapsulated that, so don't worry. When I come back into file, I'm going to shave all that off anyways, and the perfect lines will be revealed. So I go in with the gold, and then I'll come back in at that cuticle area once I'm happy with the gold and how it's shaped. I will come back in with that teal color from Glam and Glitz Diamond Collection in Love Me, and I will pull that. I thought these actually blended really well together because they're both like the way my gold looks, which yes, it may be hard to believe, but I did make this color myself, and it is one of my own homemade acrylics. I mixed it with Mia Secrets clear only, no white, just clear. And that Love Me color, the teal, is just as like metallic-y, shimmery as this one, except it's a blue color. So I feel like they went really well together. They really did. I guess in hindsight, I should have just pulled the blue over like the entire thing instead of just trying to do the sides the way I did, because I did end up like cutting into parts of the acrylic that I didn't want to. So after I filed this too, like to reveal everything, I did encapsulate it. I did encapsulate this one. However, on the other hand, I didn't have to because my structure was thick enough. This one, it wasn't thick enough. That's why I had to go back in to encapsulate it once I had filed, you know, the design to reveal itself. So I'm just making sure that I get that Love Me in there and tuck it around those sidewalls and cuticle area, and making sure that I have enough in there to where it is giving me my rounded, thicker in the center, thinner on the sides, but tucked on the sides. Making sure the shape is the same exact way on both sides. So I don't need to put much in the center. I just do it to get those perfect lines. So moving on to the pointer, I think I might go in and encapsulate those in a second. But moving on to the pointer, this is where I do that ombre I was telling you about. So at first I was going to do this really pretty like burgundy purplish color, but I'm like, no, that doesn't go with that nail in the center. So I'm like, no. So I take my brush and I wipe it all off while it's still wet. And it really is a beautiful color. It just wasn't going with what my vision was. So I took it off real quick, and then I dipped into my teal and started covering my free edge with that and then blending it upwards like I said before. I know I was supposed to like let you guys go a while ago, but I really wanted to explain the whole hand so that way when I leave you guys with the other hand, you already know what's going on. It's just on basically opposite fingers. Same designs, just on opposite fingers. So I'm blending that up. And one thing I really love about this color and the shimmery colors in general is they really, really blend really nicely. It's just something about the pigment that you just can't see any of the flaws. It goes on really smoothly. I find that their systems are not a dry system, they're a more wet system, so they're best worked with wet. I'm just making sure that I have that pink that I had taken off covered up for the most part. And this is that glitter I told you about that I mixed into my clear and made a glitter acrylic. This is that Fuchsia Fantasy extra fine mylar that I made into that acrylic, and look at how pretty that blends over that Love Me. So once I'm done with that, I'll cap it, and then I'll move on to the thumb. And this is where I'm doing my gold acrylic that I made, yes, and I will start moving that down the nail, just pulling it down gently, making sure to stay as thin as possible, pat it out to where I need it. I'm just making sure that the shape of that nail is still nice, and making sure I stay within those side walls nicely and neatly, and go down the sides of the nail with my brush if I have to wipe those sides. That is a small tip and trick. If you need to clean up those side areas, you can swipe down the side of the nail with the side of your brush and just kind of pat out that joint area or brush it out as thin as possible. And here's that Paris glitter now. When I get home, I promise I will edit the video and put what the name of this glitter is, but it's Paris something. I thought for some reason it was Paris Lights, but it could be Paris Night or Paris Night, like something like that. And it's such a gorgeous, gorgeous glitter mix. See all those purples and blues and golds? Just so pretty. And it's got the extra fine matte glitter in there too, so it really brings the whole thing together. I'm just making sure I have enough where it's opaque and you don't see any of that nail bed. I have enough glitter. I bring some of that down to create a better shape, but thin enough to where I can come back in with my clear and it's not going to make a thick nail. So that nail is pretty thin, and it's good enough to where I could come back in and make sure everything is capped. So in moving on, I have sped this up more because this is the opposite hand, and you guys already know what I did on the other hand. I'm doing the same thing over here on the middle finger. This is the only finger that I had to replace out of all her previous nails. I did file them back down to basically nothing because I don't like to work over other people's work. She pretty much has an acrylic overlay. These are her natural nails underneath, except for the middle fingers because they broke. So I'm just getting that material on there, glued on, putting my stripes on with the striping tape. And this stuff is fiddly. You don't want to touch the sticky side with your fingers because the oils will make it so that it won't stick. But once it's down, you could touch the top surface of it. That's fine. But just don't do it too much because you're going to move it around everywhere. So then I will line that other side and I will cap that entire thing, striping tape and all. And you'll see me doing that here. Just making sure it's cut where it needs to be cut. Trying not to make the encapsulation too thick. Make sure it is flush up at that cuticle and kind of comes up a little bit and straight out. So that's the goal here, and you just make sure that those side walls are as neat as possible. Then you'll file it when it's dry and then do your ombre work. So that's it, guys. I'll leave you to it. I'll leave the music on for you so you can enjoy the rest of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Stay tuned and definitely subscribe if you haven't already. Smash that like button and don't forget to share with your friends, because once we get to those 1,000, guys, that's when we're doing that giveaway, and I promise you will not be disappointed. So thank you so much again. Remember, hashtag more love, less hate, and hashtag Celeste Nail Designs. And I love you all so much. Bye, guys.